Alright guys, I've created another slingshot and using that same TD rosewood, and I thought I'd mention a little bit about the rosewood while you look at this lovely slingshot here. Is that it's not a true, like many, you know, South American exotics that are sold. It's it's not a rosewood. It's not a dalbergia. It's actually more closely related to a bubinga. It's also sold under the trade name of Patagonian cherry, which is also misleading because it's not a cherry. It's used as flooring sometimes. If it's left untreated and out in the weather, it'll have a tendency to check and warp, but it doesn't rot or decay. It's got kind of a bland, as you can see, kind of a bland patterning, kind of a pinkish brownish color, and if this camera will cooperate, we'll be able to get a really good close look at this end grain here, which has got diffuse porous radial characteristic. The lighting in this room is probably giving you a false impression of the color, but just wanted you to get a good look at the grain. See it? And I wanted to mention that this finish that you're looking at here, which if you look at it really closely, you could see that it's ready for, you know, linseed oil or whatever. It has not been sanded. This has been blade scraped. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's been blade scraped with this little kiridashi here from Diggs Fossils and Knives, which is wicked sharp, let me tell you. Okay, it's a wonderful little knife. And blade scraping as compared to, here, let's put that up there. Blade scraping as compared to sanding opens the pores of the wood, gives it a distinct luster, brings out a color that sanding, when you sand this particular wood, it just looks kind of bland and pink and fuzzy. It feels soft. And then, if you blade scrape it, okay, for your final, what it does is it opens up the pores like crazy. See that? You don't even see that when it's sanded. You don't even see it. You'd have to sand up to about 600 grit to start seeing that. But if you carefully blade scrape it, you can bring out these features. This is really neat stuff. If it would just focus on it, that'd be awesome. That's it. That's it. Try and give you as best light as I can with it too. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, it's got a lot of. It's also called Serrari, which a lot of exotics are called Serrari, Patagonian cherry, TD rosewood, but it's just a really nice hardwood. It dulls cutters pretty quickly. It burns when you use power sanding or routing, stuff like that, but it cuts very nice, but it has a tendency to tear out, you know, like if I were to stick my knife in there, I could just peel it right down. So although it's very hard, it's not hard like, let's say, walnut's hard, or ebony's hard, or purple heart's hard. It's not like that. No, but it is hard. It's a very nice hard wood. Anyway, so now that's enough about the wood. Now let me talk about the shape on this. This is, I guess, something slingshot makers and enthusiasts have seen plenty of. You know, it's the kind of that you hold like that, right? You could hold it sideways. This probably feels the best. Although you could try and twist your hand around that way. You could hold it this way, you could hold it this way, but this is the way it's really meant to be held. It's got little dished, oversized heads on the fork to help guide the elastics. It has no grooves. The elastics are just kept by this bulbous top. I spooned this side, for like a nice little concave, and then on the side kind of flat. And I could have made that, as you see, it's not flat because the plank was flat. I just wanted it flat. And how I came up with all these little shapes was just holding it and feeling it and touching it and handling it for hours and hours and hours. And eventually I got a shape that I liked. And there was really no reason for me to put that spoon, that concave on there. It could just as well be fat or whatever. It doesn't do anything. If you were to band it so that it was turned around this way, you could see how your fingers could go into that spoon shape, which is pretty cool, right? I've got it banded this way right now because I'm testing out to see how it feels this way. I think I like it better this way in some ways. But what's funny is, see, if you look at these little horns, I've kind of twisted around. So it doesn't matter which way you turn it, it's still the same. These are the same. I don't know if you could call that symmetrical. It's got some kind of diametrically opposed symmetry, huh? At least on this part. Neat wood. I've shot it a few times, although it's dark. I just sort of shot out to the woods just to see how it shoots. It's awesome slingy. I love it. Only defect on this whole thing that I can see is that it's got a great big check that goes all the way through top from there to there. Does not come out this side. I've tried to pull it apart, like try and split it. I just grabbed the ears and I just pulled as hard as I could, and it won't come apart. So it's a defect, but I don't think it's a fail. But, yeah, it's mine. I made it. I love it. And I'll show you guys me shooting it sometime tomorrow when it's light. Looking forward to getting some finish on it. I want to just dial in a few more little profiles. You can see I've got a flat right here. And I can feel a little wave right there. A little wave right there. And again, same thing on this side. Flat. This is just about perfect. A little bit right there, but this is just about perfect. And I created that again by blade scraping. Yep, I just kept at it, creating all these tiny little shavings for many hours. Just kept on doodling with it. I can feel something right here I want to adjust. Right there. I want to adjust that. And what's nice about the blade scraping is it really gives you a nice shine to the wood, natural shine. See the shine that it has? Which would be lacking if it were sanded. And that allows you to pick up defects in your contours. In my contours here I can see my little things I want to change to make it a certain way. Well, I'm having good fun here messing with this wood. I really love wood. I've always loved wood. I've been a woodworker almost my entire adult life. And so it's just nice just to do something like this. It's almost like sculpting or something. And it's a challenge because I didn't copy a pattern. I didn't like download a drawing or print out a picture of somebody else's slingshot and copy it or something. This is entirely from scratch. This is a piece of paper and an ink pen and a ruler, and just sitting down trying to get an idea of what would work, and then taking my drawing and altering it and cutting it up and retaping it and putting it together, and then making a pattern out of it, and then tracing it out and then cutting it out on the bandsaw this way, and then cutting it out on the bandsaw this way, which was really fun. Had to use some double stick foam tape and a block to hold it upright. And then getting in there on my spindle sander for much time, doing all this kind of stuff, doing all this major shaping, getting that down with the spindle sander, right? And then doing some real coarse surfacing with some 180 grit, just to get some basic shapes the way I wanted, and then going straight from 180 to the Kiridashi and getting really nice ready to oil finish, even over knots. And as you can see, much changing of direction, much changing of grain angles and stuff, and even works good on end grain. Yeah, that's all been done with a knife, just scraping. And if you were to run your hand over it, it feels as smooth as a cue ball. Very nice. Alright guys, thanks for watching. That was a super long video. Just thought I'd spend a little time with you guys tonight here before I head up to the bed. Start my routine all over again tomorrow.